All right, welcome back. If you are just joining us, you're watching Daybreak on Trust Television. Now, let's set the tone for our first discussion on the program. Nigeria's tertiary institutions remain on strike following the declaration of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, and the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnic, ASUP, who have both accused the federal government of failing to fulfill its own side of the agreement reached by the two parties in the past. With many Nigerian students currently at home due to this, the federal government is still yet to reach an agreement with the two unions. Now we have joining us via phone Kasim Umar, the chairman of Academic Staff Union of Universities, University of Abuja chapter, and Ibrahim Badaru, the chairman, Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics. Hussein Adam Federal Polytechnic Kazaure, Jigar State Chapter, both join us, to speak on this issue. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on Daybreak.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Thank you. Mr. Kazim, we would start with you. What can you tell us? What was the latest update with regards this disagreement with the federal government?
Yeah. Good morning, listener. The Academic Staff Union of University, we went back on strike some time ago, rolling strike, and we still roll the strike over for next 2 months. But however, the federal government, the basis of our strike is that the federal government refused to honor agreements which they freely entered with our union back to 2020. And which we call Memorandum of Action. And on all this, the federal government set up a committee to renegotiate the agreement, which a drafted document has been submitted to the federal government. But the federal government on their own part, they went ahead, set up another renegotiation team. But as it is today, I don't want to bother you with much explanation, but as it is today, the federal government, the team, either the federal government, none of them have invited Academic Staff Union of the university for any discussion.
Okay, so Mr. Kasim, I think I saw a press briefing yesterday from Calabar by the membership of the Association Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, saying that universities may remain short for a long time if the federal government does not fulfill its part of the bargain.
Yes, of course, that is the true statement, because when you're on strike, the windows are open for discussion, but the other party feel reluctant and refuses to call you. So we have no alternative. The National Executive Council will always meet and review the situation. So the likelihood of the strike to go beyond what we are saying is certain.
Before we come to Mr. Badara, one more question for you, Mr. Kazim. When you talked about a rollover, what exactly do you imply?
We imply that the rollover strike, initially we started with a rolling strike of 1 month to give the government opportunity to attend to all these issues. Government went back and set up another renegotiation, which we have done the negotiation with the team set up by the federal government, which I told you that the draft was submitted. So we are not pleased with the government's position and the body language of the government. And they came up again, and we asked to roll over 2 months. And the 2 months, sometime May, will expire. The National Executive Council will meet and review the situation. But we are saying there is likelihood between that time we declare the rollover strike of 1 month, and now nothing has been done.
Mr. Badaru, coming to you, what can you tell us? Is there any new development with regards to your own negotiation with the federal government?
Hello, good morning, listeners.
Thank you.
The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics held its meeting last month in Mowibi, Adamawa State, where we reviewed the happenings, the engagement between our union and the government. And as we all recall that our union suspended a 61-day strike action for 3 months. But up till now, the federal government did not show any sign of seriousness in meeting up the demands of the union, because most of the demands made by the union are yet to be met. But the union is in negotiation with the government, because our union executives of the national met the federal government team twice. And so we cannot lose hope completely and see that the negotiation is not on course. But the sluggish attitude in meeting these basic demands is worrisome.
Okay.
We can remember that one of our demands, some of these demands we made include the revitalization fund, which the president approved 15 billion naira out of the 800 billion naira demanded or submitted by the assessment team. And this was approved by the president, and up to now, a kobo is not released. Another demand of the union includes the payment of the arrears of the minimum wage, which all other sectors have been paid except the tertiary institutions. And we could remember that the amount was approved and expected to be paid by December 31st, 2019. And up to now, we have not been given a kobo.
Okay. So, Mr. So, Mr. Badaru, if unfortunately the federal government, does not meet up to its own part of the bargain, how long can you hold this for?
Pardon?
I said, if the federal government does not meet up to its own part of that bargain, how long can you hold the strike for?
At our national executive meeting in Mubiola, we agreed that we are giving this government another 4 weeks, starting from 4th of April, to see how they will use this opportunity to lift up their demands. Because initially, even before strike we went, which was suspended, we gave them like a space period of a week, so that if they are serious enough, they would have used that time not to allow the staff to go on strike. So even now again, we are giving them extra 4 weeks, starting from 4th April, so that if the demands are not met, the National Executive Council will meet in Abuja and decide on the next line of action.
Thank you, Mr. Badaru. Coming back to Mr. Cousin, how would you describe the attitude of the government negotiators to the demand? In some quarters, the impression is that ASUU seem to be asking for something that is unreasonable. Do you think your demands of the government at this particular time is unreasonable?
I think anybody that believes in that assertion is not sincere to the union, because the insincerity of government today is very alarming. In fact, they don't have the interests of the educational sector at heart, and all what they are jostling about is how to get the convention and the next election. So what we're saying is that if we ask the same people just the same question, is it not my right for me to enjoy my desired welfare as part of the promotion arrears being owed by the government? Is it not my right for me to get my earned academic allowances, which was not paid? It is not my right to get an amputated salary designed through the IPPIS, which from government to be paid to our members. Is it not my right for them, since 2009 to date, that we are the only agency of government that is receiving the same salary as of back to 2009. Where we are quite aware there are some establishments or parastatals that their salary has been increased over 300% within the year. And you see, we are going to the same market. Is it not a shame in our own part, being the giant of Africa, that a professor at Bar is collecting 416,000, amputated by IPPIS again? So
when you say amputated by the IPPIS, does it suggest that the government is shortchanging members of ASUU when it comes to salary payment?
In fact, that is the correct word, my brother. The government is building upon assuming inside corruption by introduction of IPPS into the university system. And you see, you can even draw this your conclusion from the recent publication attributed to the head of service that says 1,500 fake appointment letter is put into IPPIS and they are going to erroneously remove it. So what we keep on saying is that it is an avenue to steal money. It is an avenue. We are saying this thing, it is not even, does not address our peculiarities. Because in a situation where our allowances cannot be paid through this means, a situation where professors at times you wake up, your salary is 30,000, some 15,000, some 19,000. As I'm talking to you, all over the federal public universities today, we have over 1,806 academic staff that are still being owed for the past 6-7 months. They were not paid. These people are not ghost workers.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kasim Umar. Now, let me direct this at Mr. Ibrahim before we quickly wrap up this segment of the show. Now, Mr. Ibrahim, I want to talk, on the part of the students. Don't you think, this strike, is affecting, Nigeria's educational system, particularly for the students?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you asking that this strike is what?
I'm asking if a lot of strikes that we see, is not affecting Nigeria's educational system, particularly for the students.
Yes, the strikes is not helping the Nigerian education sector, but it still remains the only language the Nigerian academics can use in getting their demand from the government. Had it been there are any other options, then we should have employed them. We could remember that all the successes recorded in the educational sector so far by the staff is only through the strikes. All other means used failed. So the only thing that remains for us is to embark on strike, despite the fact that we don't like it, we don't see it as something that will help the system. But the proprietors of these institutions, the owners, should be more responsible in solving these simple demands that all other sectors don't even have. So I don't think the strike will be seen to be a good thing, but will remain the only option.
Okay.
And being the only option, that means it's the only way we can get our demands from the government.
Thank you. Very quickly, Mr. Kazim, in 20 seconds, what exactly do you want the government to see? Are you asking for for them to meet completely all that you are demanding from the government, or you think the government should meet you halfway and then negotiation can continue while the student return? I need you to answer this in 20 seconds and we will take the reaction from Badr as we hurry to wrap up this segment.
You see, there is what we renegotiated with the government. I have told you from the beginning of the program that the document we renegotiated is before the government for implementation. What we are asking is the implementation of that renegotiation agreement, which is with the government.
Not a renegotiation of another renegotiation, isn't it?
How can you keep on renegotiation and implementation?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kazim. Quickly to Mr. Badaru. What can the government do right now, to get you and the students back in the classroom?
government should do the needful. They know what we ask for. They should give us what we ask for.
Thank you very much. It's been great talking to the two of you this morning and giving us perspective on...
Thank you very much. I'm not Mr. Kasim. I'm Dr. Kasim.
Dr. Kasim. Thank you. Apologies for that.
It's an academic title. It's
Yes.
not a traditional title.
Absolutely. And we cherish the hard work that got into...
corrected by Dr. Kasim.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, gentlemen,
Thank
for
you.
joining us on the program this morning.
Do have a great day ahead.